Good evening, everyone. It's Hanifa Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, it got late again by the time I was actually making this video, but I really felt like getting started on this video series, which is going to be about quantum physics and conscious creation. And for those of you who have been following me for a while, you know how much this mind likes to focus on consciousness, amongst many other things, but certainly about conscious creation. And this time, I would like to really make sure that this series of videos is about practical tips and understanding of consciousness, because I believe that it can help all of us, or each of us, in our personal journeys. And you know that I'm in Bali on on this journey through this form, consciousness working through this form in this journey at this time. And so many people ask me about this and often try to get a little bit more understanding of this experience. And I thought that rather than sharing my experience, which of course I do as well, I'd like to help you understand consciousness and then how to practically apply it to your own life. So today I thought I'd start with this first quotation by Eckhart Tolle. And you know, he was such an instrumental figure in terms of a speaker, in terms of my starting to put together all of this information. And what a treat to come across a quotation by him today, which says, "To know yourself as consciousness is the most amazing liberation." And this is the key. So again, I believe that we are all consciousness, yet most of us have been trained to understand ourselves as our body, our thoughts, our emotions, our titles, our profession, our roles as whatever, a parent, a child, a sister, a brother, a cousin. So many different things. And of course, titles in terms of a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer, whatever, anything. And yet, so we have started associating ourselves with those things. Not started, I'd say this is human consciousness does start at this space. And I'll say that level is very egoic. So you can imagine that a child starts understanding itself with its name when a parent might say, such and such name, such and such name. So little Timmy, little Timmy, little Timmy, Timmy, come here, Timmy, do this, Timmy, don't sit there. So it understands, oh, my name is Timmy. And so this idea then gets transferred into the rest of our lives, that oftentimes we are told what we are and we strive to become what we would like to be. And that is all consciousness working through each of us, and based on our own individual experiences or goals or desires, we lead ourselves, our forms, into some life experience. And again, this video series is going to be about conscious creation. And I want to make sure that you understand that this is going to be about science and spirituality that are meeting each other at the same space using different language. And it's been many years that I've been consciously aware of this, and it's time to get this out, even though it's not the first time you may hear about these sorts of things. Many, many people are talking about these things these days. This mind felt like sharing it from this perspective and my understanding to perhaps help your understanding, because maybe you are very much like me. And I believe we all are much more like each other than different from each other. So today I also wanted to share this quotation. It says, "The key to growth is the introduction of higher dimensions of consciousness into our awareness." I'll say that again. The key to growth is the introduction of higher dimensions of consciousness into our awareness. Now, you know, a lot of people will understand that we have an awareness. And awareness, if we were to look from psychology, maybe at Jung's perspective, awareness would include the unconscious as well as the conscious. And this is what we all carry in our consciousness. So this is stuff, and oftentimes those things are from thoughts. And thoughts definitely help create our experience, or perhaps our quite foundational in our experience. And most of the thoughts that we carry, whether expressed or not, are unconscious. And then it comes out in our experience. And I know that Jung has this famous quote that he says, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And I believe this. And so there is a group of people that we are kind of curious about, what is this consciousness and how is it working through our forms and what can it achieve and is it important or not, and why is there such an interest in this? And so of course this mind does find it very important because it definitely does allow us to experience the experiences in life that we are having. And again, we can either have our experiences consciously or not consciously. And today I want to make sure that I plant the seed of at least helping you understand that awareness for ourselves grows every day. And learning is part of awareness. So I might not be aware of Bali so much, but maybe as I walk around a little bit more or I meet more people or go to different places, my awareness grows about the location. And that would be some learning. Now, awareness is the totality of things. And awareness of the energy of a space is a very different experience than the awareness of where a particular store is. And so as our consciousness expands and our awareness expands, or at least our awareness of consciousness, because consciousness is just there, it is. Yet our awareness of how far this consciousness expands can benefit from conscious attention. And that is again what I will be focusing on in this series. And I want you to know that philosophers, authors, poets, mystics, sages, gurus, teachers, educational institutions, all sorts of places have talked about this for some length of time. I'll say educational institutions probably more recently. Recently, I say loosely because I'd say it's been many years now. Yet, we know that quantum physics is also in that same zone where quantum physics is perhaps not understood so well, except by a select few who are focusing on this. And there's a lot of those select few because that group is growing too. Yet to get it into mainstream understanding is not so common. And now, if we're interested in this, as this mind is, we'll see that this is intersecting to understand from both science and spiritual perspectives to be able to utilize this consciously. And I know that in this series, I will be talking about 3D, 4D, and 5D experiences. And I'll just make sure that in a very brief way, I'll share that 3D is what we see with our human eyes. I will say that it's everything that we experience with human senses. So eyes, ears, nose, mouth. So again, when we're thinking about vision, smelling, hearing, tasting, touching, all of those things are our 3D experience. In 3D, it's very much about the human form. And again, so that's the tasting, the smelling, the hearing, the seeing, and the touching. And then there's something beyond that. And some people might have this. I sometimes have a sense of, I think it's intuition or a gut feeling. We'll call it different things. And this video series will talk about that a little bit more too, because there's a way to start understanding ourselves at a deeper level than what we're used to in these superficial senses. So that is, again, the intention of this series. And I'd love if you let me know how you feel about this. If you feel like sharing, I'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, I wanted to end with this quotation. So the quotation that I had read, the key to growth is introduction of higher dimensions of consciousness into our awareness. I read that twice because I wanted to make sure, first of all, that you know that it's often, apparently, what I read, attributed to Lao Tzu. And apparently that's not right. It's actually more likely by a Sufi mystic and teacher whose name is Hazrat Inayat Khan. And so this person has some very deep messages that I've come across. And again, a lot of traditions, so whether I look at Vedic tradition, whether I look at Christianity and old school teaching, whether I look at Muslim teachings, if I think of even non-denominational depth of understanding, you'd find some very, very common themes. And this about consciousness is definitely out there in various places. But I thought since that first quote I shared was by him, I would share this message too, so you have some understanding of how deep consciousness really is. So it says, life is a place where it is necessary to move gently, whether it be in thought, speech, or action. The rhythm must be controlled. The law of harmony must be observed in all that one does. If there is anything that will bring satisfaction, it is diving deep into love, capital L. And then we shall realize that there is nothing which is not just. We shall never again say that anything is unjust. This is the point the wise reach, and they call it the culmination of wisdom. The culmination of wisdom. Now, any of you who have ever done meditation with me, even as we're working through chakras, when I have worked, and certainly I know that I still do this with friends, I love that we comment and we focus in on the third eye and how we talk about intelligence and wisdom. And I always remind people about this, that there is intelligence which can grow through learning, and there is wisdom which is inherent and part of this consciousness flowing through us as wisdom. Wisdom utilizes intelligence through understanding, yet wisdom is uncovered when the mind allows that free flow of understanding, where there's that aha moment that's like, I get it. And so because this is a deep quotation, let me read it to you one more time. It says, life is a place where it is necessary to move gently, whether it be in thought, speech, or action. The rhythm must be controlled. The law of harmony must be observed in all that one does. If there is anything that will bring satisfaction, it is diving deep into love, capital L, and then we shall realize that there is nothing which is not just. We shall never again say that anything is unjust. This is the point the wise reach, and they call it the culmination of wisdom. I do believe this is the culmination of wisdom, and I love that the world seems to be moving in this direction for a certain number of people who are ready, and whoever is ready is moving in this direction, and whoever is not will move in the direction that is also helping wisdom be raised or remembered for many. And for those that are working in unconscious spaces, let us have the compassion towards that experience as it also allows us to rise in wisdom. I hope that this all makes sense. It's the first video of this series. I hope that you understand that this is going to be practical tools for you. So even though this video is really about just talking about awareness and consciousness in general, it is obviously a broad topic, and it's an area of focus for so many, and rightfully so, because there's so much power in this energy, and this energy is something that we all carry, but we've never really been trained how to use it. Today, I hope that you'll join me in this series as I work through helping you learn how to harness the power of your consciousness. Have a beautiful day or night wherever you are, and I hope you remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day or night, everyone.